Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Classic video. Now today's video is going to be a selection of highlight clips from the past few weeks, and we're starting off here on Pickabeen Bay where we have a pretty big sambar deer in front of us. Now I just took a shot there with the heavy recurve. Unfortunately it wasn't the greatest shot and it did end up just spining this guy, so I am going to take another shot just to get this guy to expire a little bit quicker, and as you can see there, that was a fatal shot. Now, as I get down from the tree stand to actually claim him here, you'll notice there's a couple of females that are actually stood up. Those are dead. It's a really weird bug that when you shoot, like, it seems to be a certain number of sambar and rusa in the same spot, that some of the dead ones will stand up. It's really, really weird, and it happens quite a lot at this tree stand. But picking this guy up, he is a 242.0472 scoring stag. Now, that is really, really awesome. That is by far my biggest one ever, so definitely going to tax him for the trophy lodge and get a nice trophy picture. Now, these guys can get a little bit bigger. I've seen them up into the 260s on the leaderboard, but I'm still really happy with that as a really good size sambar. Now, for this next clip, we're heading over to Hirschfelden, and I was actually out here looking to complete a couple of objectives for the Easter mission when I spotted this really big looking roebuck, and I was hopeful that this guy could be 200 plus and maybe even be a new personal best. So just going to take a shot at him there. I was really hoping that shot might just get through to intestines. Roe deer are pretty weak, and I was hoping that that would be enough to bring him down fairly quickly, and sure enough it was. He really didn't go very far before he actually dropped. And just looking at the size of this guy's antlers, I knew he was going to be 200 plus, and I was just really hoping that he'd be really nice and big. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't the best spot to claim him, so I'm just moving back there to try and get into the light a little bit more. And this guy's 244.4732, which makes him a new personal best for me. My previous personal best was a 241 from Hemmeldal, so that is a new personal best. Unfortunately, I forgot to tax this guy, because using that new menu, I'm still so used to going to take a trophy shot and then having to tax them, as you used to have to do. But now you can tax them and then take a trophy shot, and I'm just so not used to it, I completely forgot. But thankfully he was only a couple of points bigger than my previous personal best anyway. If it had been a 250s or 260s, I would have been really upset, but still a really good buck that I was very happy to be able to harvest. Now, while still on Hirschfelden, still running around trying to complete some objectives, I spotted another piebald fallow buck. Now, unfortunately, this guy is really, really tiny, and I initially spotted him as he was fleeing, and he was amongst a group of does, and I couldn't even see his antlers, and I thought it was a doe, and I spent so long trying to track him thinking it was a doe, and then I finally saw him as he ran right past me, and I was like, oh my gosh, it is actually a very tiny buck. And the track for this guy was just so insanely long, and there was points where I didn't think I was going to be able to find it, and it sort of became more of a personal vendetta to find this buck, because he just gave me such a runaround, and it was really just a really long stalk, but it was really worth it in the end. Got a really nice trophy shot of this guy, and I was very, very happy with that. Now, moving on to this next clip, and we are here on Red Feather Falls, and I was actually out here looking for maybe a non-typical whitetail or a non-typical blacktail, maybe a big elk, something like that, when I spotted this, a max weight and max score estimate black bear. Now, I've never shot any very big black bears in the Hunter Classic. I think my biggest was a 21 scoring male, something along those lines. So I was hoping this could be a really big bear. I was really hoping for a 23 plus scoring male for the trophy lodge, and I was hoping this guy really could make it with that estimate. Now, that shot was a little bit too far back, because bears have a really weird hitbox in the Hunter Classic. Even just slightly behind the shoulder is going to land you an intestine hit, so I should have held that shot a little bit further forward. I just completely forgot that bears have a weird hitbox. But looking at this guy on the ground, he did look to have a really big head, and seeing as in the Hunter Classic their score is based off of their skull size, I was really hopeful that this guy could be really big. And picking him up, the first thing I see is that 280 kg weight, which is only 10 kgs off of the max, and then sure enough he scores 23.2595, making this guy by far my personal best black bear. Now, he's not on the leaderboards, but I was really happy with that. All I wanted for the Trophy Lodge was a 23 plus scoring bear, and seeing as in the Hunter Classic they seem to max out at just over 23.9, there's one on the leaderboard that's 23.99 something. You know, this is a really good size bear. They can't get up to 24 from what I know in terms of score, so anything over 23 in my eyes is a pretty good scoring bear if they can't get up to 24. So yeah, really happy with that. And I spent a long time trying to get a nice trophy shot because the shadows and that in this area were really difficult to work around, but I really like how this turned out. Super happy with that, and a really nice addition to the Trophy Lodge. Now, moving over to Pickabeen Bay, where I've been spending a lot of time recently. I've just really been enjoying hunting Pickabeen. I really like the map, and I really like the species on the map, and I've just been having a really good time hunting here. And I really enjoy hunting the water buffalo, and I ended up finding this guy. He is a real beast of a water buffalo. Not quite max weight estimate, but I do believe that is max score estimate, going up to 290. And I was going to try and take him with the muzzle loader, but opted to take him with the bow there, seeing as he got so close as he was charging. But just look at the size of the horns on these things. They are one of the most impressive species in the Hunter Classic by far. Those horns are huge. And this guy is a 276.2189, which makes him just slightly below my personal best. So I'm definitely going to take a trophy shot of this guy, because these guys just look cool. Like I said, they're just so impressive looking. Those horns are massive. I wish they got this big in Call of the Wild, because just seeing the size of one of these things is awesome. And when you see one of them charging at you like they do in the Hunter Classic, it really is quite a thrill. I just find these so entertaining to hunt. The dream would be to find an albino one day, but they are extremely rare, so I'll just have to cross my fingers that one day I might come across one. But sticking with Pickabeen Bay, and this time we're taking a look at a really solid banteng. Managed to drop him there with the 4570 just as he started to walk off. And these guys are really cool. I really like the banteng. A bit more shy than the water buffalo, they won't attack you, but nonetheless a really cool species. And this guy is a 156.1291 scoring bull, which makes him a new PB for me. And as you can see, he did get me into second place in a competition there, which we will talk a little bit more about in a second. But nice trophy shot of this guy. I was really happy with that. Not going to tax him. I'm looking for a 160 plus to tax for the lodge. But nonetheless, I am so happy with that. But as I just mentioned, that previous banteng got me into second place in a competition. Well, I continued to hunt for that banteng competition and ended up finding this guy. Now, he had a very solid weight estimate, and the competition was actually for the highest combined score of your top 3 heaviest banteng. So I was looking for banteng that had a really heavy weight estimate, which this guy did. And this guy did actually bump my average up into first place, and I did end up keeping first place from that and got the gold trophy, which is only my second ever first place trophy in the Hunter Classic, and I was really super happy with that. Now, talking about competitions, I also entered into basically the same competition but for water buffalo. The average of your top 3 heaviest water buffalo would be your entry. And I spent a long time hunting water buffalo, trying to get my average up, and I ended up finding this guy. Now, this guy is max weight estimate and also has a pretty solid score estimate. So just as he's walking through those trees there, managed to drop him with the 4570. And he is a pretty solid looking water buffalo, and I was really hoping for a heavyweight. And sure enough, he's actually 1190 kgs and 271 scoring. Now, 1190 kgs when they max at 1200 kgs is really good, and that did bump my average up by quite a bit. And I was in first place for a little while, but someone did just sort of beat me to first place after I shot this guy, and so I ended up in second place. But I'm still really, really happy with that. Still got the trophy for my trophy gallery, and yeah, I'm just really happy that I managed to place, so really happy with that outcome. Now, moving over to Timber Gold Trails, where once again I was entered into a competition. This time it was for the highest scoring wolf. Now, I went and sat in one of my tree stands, put out the electronic cooler, and in comes a pack of wolves with a really solid male amongst them. And I pulled out my crossbow to go and shoot him, but the batteries in my wireless mouse were dying, and unfortunately it registered as that I had shot the crossbow right by the wolf rather than actually at the wolf, so he spooked. So I had to go and track him down. Fortunately, he didn't go too far and was actually still by the river, which made it easier to sort of actually see where he was because of the less vegetation. And managed to get a shot at him there with the 270, and he is a 16.1953 scoring wolf, which did get me into first place for a little bit, but once again, just as the competition was ending in the last few hours, I got beaten, so I got second place, and I'm still really happy. Again, it's another trophy for the gallery, and I'm always really happy to just place in these comps, so that was really good. Now, last night I ended up entering a Arctic fox competition. Once again, this was a weight comp. It was the average weight of your top 3 heaviest Arctic foxes. And I went out onto White Rime with my pointer and we went and hunted some Arctic foxes and actually had a really good time. I don't often hunt the Arctic fox, so it was something a little bit different. And I ended up shooting a couple of okay size males. And as you will see, that one actually got me into first place. However, once again, I got beaten as the competition was ending in the last couple of hours. But I got second place, still got a trophy, so really happy I actually placed in that one. Really didn't think I'd place in the Arctic Fox one, so really happy with that. Now, just to finish in terms of clips, also last night whilst out on White Rime I came across this group of bison which had a really, really big male in it. That is a max weight and max score estimate male, so just taking him out there with the Winter Camo 300, and I was hoping that this guy could be a pretty big scorer, seeing as he had really good estimates. I'm really looking for a rare bison, but I'll never turn down a high scorer, and this guy at 124.7425 is actually a really good scoring bison. My personal best is a 126 point something scoring bison, so not a personal best, but still a really, really good sized bison bull, and just a bonus considering how well the hunt was going. I do have some more clips that will be for next video of some other stuff that happened during these hunts last night, but this was all that really could fit into this video. And now moving on to basically the last 2 animals of this video, but unfortunately the footage of both of these got lost. This was during the Easter missions, and this was the footage that unfortunately got lost that I talked about. We have a really, really big red deer here that I shot on Val de Bois, a 276.3502 scoring stag, which is by far my personal best. My previous personal best was a 272, so I was really thrilled to get that guy. And not much further along the river on the same hunt, I ended up getting this beautiful 164.6276 scoring piebald roebuck. Now, I'm really, really sad that I lost the footage of actually shooting these two, because they were actually in the same clip, because I took the trophy shot of the red deer, and there was also a really big red fox which you needed for the mission objectives for the Easter mission. So I went from shooting the red deer to tracking the fox that I saw just before shooting the red deer, and as I was tracking the fox I found the roe deer. So I ended up with a big fox, a really big red deer, and a beautiful rare, all within not very long of each other, and unfortunately that was the clip that got deleted somehow, I guess. It just completely vanished from my PC. I tried data recovery tools, I tried everything, and it just was gone. It wasn't even showing up in like deleted files from the data recovery stuff. So what happened, I honestly don't know. But I still got the trophy shots of these 2 beautiful animals, so I did say I would talk about them in this video, and yeah, I'm still really happy I got them and they look fabulous in the trophy lodge. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.